and he will chase after them. And I will be honored through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. And they did so. This explains why they left the main travel route and arrived at the Nuweiba beach of the Aqaba finger of the Red Sea. There has also been found in the Gulf of Aqaba, finger of the Red Sea, in the area of Nuweiba port, amazing evidence of coral growth on objects that look like old chariot wheels, axles, and so forth. It has been found on the shore across from Nuweiba port, on the Saudi Arabian side, these same figures. So you can see in this video here, this amazing coral figures that look like axles, that look like chariot wheels, and they're just all strewn out as you go from Nuweiba out into the Red Sea, and then on the shore coming up out of the Red Sea on the Saudi Arabian side as well. Now, you should know that coral doesn't grow in sandy areas. It must have rock or something solid to grow on. And this area where they crossed is just pure sand. So these figures are tremendous evidence of chariot wheels that would have come off from the Egyptians as they pursued the Israelites. The area where the Israelites would have camped is large and can accommodate 3 million people. So this Nuweiba port here that you can see is huge, and it would easily have accommodated 3 million people. Now, interestingly, the sea in this area, the ocean floor of this part, gradually goes down and then gradually goes up. Just north and south of this area are deep crevices, deep ravines in the ocean floor where the Israelites could not have crossed. So of the Aqaba finger of the Red Sea, there's this perfect spot where it's sandy, goes down gradually, goes up gradually, but it goes down almost a half of a mile down in the ocean. Now, Scripture continually refers to the crossing where the Israelites crossed as the Israelites going down into mighty waters. So this term, mighty waters, is used frequently in Scripture to talk about the crossing where they went into the water. Let's look at a couple of these passages which are staggering. In Exodus 14 it says, "But the sons of Israel walked on dry land through the midst of the sea, and the waters were like a wall to them on their right and on their left." Now Isaiah 51 says, "Was it not you who dried up the sea, the waters of the great deep?" The great deep, the water is very shallow, close to Goshen on the Suez Canal side of the Red Sea. Very shallow, marshes. Here it is deep, so it fits the text. You led them through the waters of the great deep. Great. Focus on that word, great deep. Who made the depths of the sea a pathway. The depths, we're talking deep down in the ocean. The depths of the sea as a pathway for the redeemed to cross over. Now, the lake beds and marshes by Egypt were certainly not waters of the great deep. They were very shallow marshes. Also, Solomon referred to the Gulf of Aqaba here as the Red Sea in 1 Kings. So he talks about his ships coming here, and he calls this the Red Sea. So this is not a new term. It's a biblical term, this Aqaba, finger of the Red Sea. Now, when the Israelites came to the Red Sea at the location of Nuweiba, they were certainly hemmed in, as Scripture says. Scripture says that they were hemmed in. It says in Exodus 14, "But Moses said to the people, 'Do not fear. Stand by and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you will never see them again forever. The Lord will fight for you while you keep silent.'" And then the hand of God performed one of the most staggering, greatest miracles ever recorded in Scripture. Think about this, 2.5 to 3 million people crossing an ocean. It's about 8 miles from one side to the other here of the finger of the Red Sea here. So it says in Exodus 14, "Then the Lord said to Moses, 'Why are you crying out to me?'" The Israelites were thinking that they were going to be destroyed by the Egyptians. They're hemmed in, they're panicking, and God says, "Why are you crying out to me, Moses? Tell the sons of Israel to go forward." As for you, lift up your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. And the sons of Israel shall go through the midst of the sea on dry land. As for me, behold, I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, so that they will go in after them. And I will be honored through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. Then the Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, when I am honored through Pharaoh, through his chariots and his horsemen. The angel of God, who had been going before the camp of Israel, moved and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them. So it came between the camp of Egypt and the camp of Israel, and there was the cloud along with the darkness, yet it gave light at night. Thus the one did not come near the other all night. So God provided a supernatural barrier between them that night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord swept back the sea by a strong east wind all night and turned the sea into dry land. So the east wind would have come from the Saudi Arabia side coming into
Hi, I'm Brett.
into them, because the sons of Israel went through the midst of the sea on the dry land, and the waters were like a wall to them on their right and on their left. Then the Egyptians took up the pursuit, and all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen went in after them, in after the Israelites, into the midst, once again, midst of the sea. At the morning watch, the Lord looked down on the army of the Egyptians. So it appears that the Israelites crossed over and were over. God removed the barrier, the pillar, and the Egyptians then, God drove them in, supernaturally caused them to come in His sovereignty to display His glory. And so then the Egyptians went into the midst. And it says, at the morning watch, the Lord looked down on the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud and brought the army of the Egyptians into confusion. He caused their chariot wheels to swerve, and He made them drive with difficulty. So the Egyptians said, let us flee from Israel, for the Lord is fighting for them against us, they were saying. Then the Lord said to Moses, stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may come back over the Egyptians, over their chariots and their horsemen. So Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its normal state at daybreak, while the Egyptians were fleeing right into it. Then the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen, even Pharaoh's entire army that has gone into the sea after them. Not one of them remained. And once again, you can see in this video these chariot wheels and the remains of what God did and how He caused confusion to the Egyptians as they were in the midst of the sea. But the sons of Israel, it says once again, walked on dry land through the midst of the sea, and the waters were like a wall to them. It repeats this over, on their right hand and on their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. When Israel saw the great power which the Lord had used against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord, and they believed in the Lord and in His servant Moses. So they had witnessed this astounding miracle, and they are just in a state of fear, a state of awe, a state of reverent fear before God. Now, once again, this